This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, Fact Check This daily, and I apologize that I did not do this yesterday. So Wednesday, I had to take my daughter to a doctor's appointment, and then yesterday, I ended up having to take my stepdaughter to a doctor's appointment. So I've spent the past 2 days going to doctor's offices, and that's for anybody who knows me very well and knows about my complete aversion to all things healthcare related. Yeah, that's some miserable shit. Anyway, but for today, this is the one I was going to talk about yesterday, and I'll do the one that I was going to talk about today on Monday, because it's a little more, it's a little longer, a little more to it. There's two separate articles, and I go back to work tonight, so I need to take a nap before we do Peddling Fiction. Peddling Fiction today at noon Central, so be sure to tune in for that. It'll be live. But in the meantime, I wanted to knock out this one. It's a little bit quicker, and it's also pretty fun. I thought this one was super fun. This is now we know Trump was planning to do Project 2025 all along. Oh, they were so terrified of Project 2025, which the majority of which involved just cutting out a bunch of bullshit government spending and stuff. I'm not sure, like all of the horror story, like going to do away with gay marriage, going to do away with interracial marriage, going to do away with all of this other stuff, like all of these things that Project 2025 was going to be, that were so terrifying that we're just going to completely destroy progressive life in America as they know it. I don't know who they had reading and reviewing this thing. I read it. I read it in its entirety, all 900 pages once, and then I also skimmed through and looked at other stuff as well. So all together, about 1 2/3 readings of it. So like I was relatively familiar with it, and when they started screeching about all this stuff that's gonna happen under Project 2025, I was like, what? Where is this coming from? And then there was the Chevron being overturned actually kind of did the job of a lot of the stuff that was in Project 2025 anyway, by removing a lot of the authority that unelected bureaucrats had on a lot of different things. So it's like, I mean, like, is Project 2025 even really necessary? But it's their thing. This is their boogeyman. Project 2025 and Elon Musk are the things that they are most terrified of and hate the most. So let's go ahead and read about how terrible this is, and how Project 2025 was Trump's plan all along. Didn't candidate Donald Trump say during last year's presidential debate that he knew nothing about Project 2025? Didn't he claim that Vice President Kamala Harris was wrong in saying he intends to implementing it if he were elected again? Didn't his campaign charge Democrats with trying to scare voters by pointing to extreme actions plotted in Project 2025? Well, it sure looks like the first weeks of Trump's second term come directly from Project 2025's playbook. Oh my God! Terrifying. Trump's words at the debate were, "I have nothing to do with Project 2025. Imagine Trump's surprise at seeing Project 2025 come to life the moment he took office." For clarification, Donald Trump said he knew nothing about Project 2025. I've said it many, many times. This is the guy who would have an intern read or give him a Cliff's Notes version of his daily press briefings. His daily press briefings, the things that are already condensed down to just the like need to know stuff, he would then have somebody tell him what it said and give him the like important notes from it. He wouldn't even actually read his daily press briefings. He would have somebody tell him what was important from it. You think that guy read the 900 pages of Project 2025 Really? And also, what he said was he didn't know anything about Project 2025. He didn't have anything to do with Project 2025. His thing was Agenda 47. And if you looked at it, Agenda 47 highlighted some of the most important parts of Project 2025 without going into a lot of the explicit detail about how to go about getting them done. So, and also, for the record, one of the primary authors of Project 2025 ended up endorsing Kamala Harris. So there's that too. But none of the left cares about any of that stuff. They just need to have this boogeyman that they can use to push their fear porn. Project 2025 called for halting federal funds for education and social welfare programs, including limiting eligibility for Medicaid. Well, guess what happened the minute Trump took office? That very plan was put into action. It was not explained which programs would be cut by people in a rush to bring Project 2025 to life. Again, Project 2025 or Agenda 47. Either way, this was part of Trump's plan. Like, you can twist it however you want, but it's like the boogeyman that is Project 2025 for the left. The overwhelming majority of that boogeyman doesn't exist, and the parts that are actually coming to fruition are literally just cleaning up the government and making things run better. But that's like, this is the insanity that they're mad because they're making things work better, and they're getting rid of excessive, unnecessary programs and bullshit. Like, that's what they're mad about. It's just insane. A federal judge quickly intervened to stop this funding freeze, and then Trump backed off an extreme plan that threatened a lot of working-class Trump voters who rely on that social safety net. The Trump administration also launched an attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion that also looked like it came out of Project 2025 playbook. Project 2025 called for an end to DEI programs. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and any other similar terms out of every federal rule. In fairness, Project 2025 did not call for the Air Force to stop celebrating the trailblazing black men who fought America's enemies during World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen. It did not insist on removing any reference to the white women pilots who got out of the cockpit to test planes during World War II so that American men could go to the front lines. The Air Force explained its omission of the historic contributions by black men and white women is as consistent with executive orders issued by the president. And that directive sure sounded like Project 2025. Trump has made DEI into a catchphrase for all the fears among his white male base, and that they experience more racism than blacks, Latinos, Asians, and women. And then we get to the crux of the article. In my new book, New Prize for These Eyes, The Rise of America's Second Civil Rights Movement, I point out that a 2021 poll showed 2/3 of Republicans equate attention to racism with putting America in danger of losing its culture and identity. He's got to use this to pitch her book. Who's the author of this? Oh, his book. Sorry, Juan Williams. Juan, definitely a DEI hire at the Hill. The poll found that more than 75% of whites who feel that being white is a disadvantage also agree with Trump's claim that the 2020 election was stolen. Everybody knows it was stolen. Did you not see the fucking numbers from this year and compare them to literally all of voting history for the last 20 years? This view is also close to white supremacists' claim that immigrants are being brought in by Democrats and political leftists to replace white American voters. The Great Replacement theory has moved from theory to fact. They've admitted as much. Political leftists and Democrats have literally admitted that this is what they're doing. Like, they're on record as saying it, but this is still like the left claims that this is the right's boogeyman, the way Project 2025 is actually the left's boogeyman. Here we're gonna get a little further down to this. Recall how during Trump's first term, the white supremacists marched in Charlottesville chanting Jews will not replace us. They always go back to Charlottesville. Very good people. You know what? I'm pretty sure one side did have some pretty good people. I don't think there were any good people on the other side. I'm just going to say it. And you can guess which side I'm talking about didn't have any good people on it. The Project 2025 playbook does have its limits. There was no call to pardon the January 6 rioters, one of whom carried a Confederate flag through the U.S. Capitol. It did not call for withdrawing Secret Service protection from Iranian targets such as former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. It did not explicitly call for firing inspectors generals throughout the government, people who might raise concerns about Trump's power grabs beyond the scope of executive authority in the Constitution. All right, number one, Mike Pompeo and John Bolton, fuck them. If they weren't warmongering psychopaths, maybe Iran wouldn't be targeting them. And then, that's you reap what you sow in that case. Fuck them. That was more out of the Trump playbook, in which he promised to be a dictator, but only on day one. We're still going with that. I want him to be a dictator on day one all the way through the day he dies, because he's never leaving office. That's what I want. Dictator for life. And then pass it on to Barron and let him be the next one. But Project 2025 does push for halting foreign aid and for massive immigration raids. The bottom line, these were also things that Trump campaigned on explicitly without connecting them to Project 2025. They were huge campaign promises, things that he talked about doing. Like, they turn all of this into the Project 2025 boogeyman, but this is all just stuff Trump said he was going to do anyway. The bottom line for Project 2025 is to essentially vest with him imperial authority beyond Congress, beyond inspectors general, and oversight by the courts. Even if it's not written in Project 2025, it's hard to miss how Trump's views of unlimited power is having a bad effect on American race relations. According to who? Where? Why? According to The Hill and CNN. Why? Trump literally did better with every minority demographic in America than any Republican has done in who knows, since Reagan or like ever. He made gains in literally every demographic, but that's Trump is hurting race relations. Okay. According to okay. Sorry, this guy's name was Juan, so maybe he would know. But as we also know, after January 6th and some other things, Hispanic people and Asian people are really just white supremacists of color. So it doesn't, you can have melanin and also be a white supremacist, as it turns out. So that's probably what this is. Only willful blindness can overlook the fear blossoming among women and minorities as a result of Trump's actions. What has Trump even done to hurt women yet? Sorry. Well, we can say by acting on Project 2025's blueprint and his naked authoritarian ambitions, Trump is deepening racial and social divisions in America. How? Give me something objective that shows that there's any evidence of that. Otherwise, you're just another lunatic screeching at the Project 2025 fear bubble that's floating over your head and nobody else's. Nobody cares about Project 2025 anymore except for the left. But it's their boogeyman. It's the thing that's going to drive them to insanity. All they see is Project 2025 everywhere. Trump derangement syndrome, now Elon derangement syndrome, and the Project 2025 boogeyman are the things that are driving them insane. And it's the reason that people like my wife get on Facebook and Twitter every day and look at people that used to be her friends that she used to hang out with and see the insanity that they post. And it's like, these people have fucking lost it. They are insane. They cannot grasp reality. And it's fucking beautiful and nuts. And I love it. This is greatest 2.5 weeks ever. Keep it up, keep it going. The wins keep coming. For everything that Trump is, I hope he's gonna be even worse. I want that. I just want it all. Hey, it can't happen fast enough. The next big step that he needs to take, he needs to go after the judiciary. Absolutely just fucking dismantle the whole thing. Get rid of all these corrupt fucking leftist bullshit judges. And then you don't have anybody left to like delay his orders or to appeal stuff or to like say that, oh, you have to halt this while we look into it. Fuck these fuckers. You don't have that authority, or you shouldn't. Strip it from them. Fuck them. Love it. That's the next step. Dismantle the entire judiciary. All right, that's all I got. As I said early on, be back at noon with Johnny to do peddling fiction. So tune in for that then. And then there's, like I said, I had a couple articles. It's about a Trump's $500 billion AI plan and some like anti-vax conspiracies and all kinds of craziness. It's a little bit different of a topic than my usual daily stuff, but I thought it was too interesting to not talk about. So we'll get to that on Monday. In the meantime, hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and yeah, catch you later. See ya.